Welcome back, everybody. We're switching gears to Waupaca County, Wisconsin, where trial kicked off this week for defendant William Zelenski. He's charged with killing his girlfriend's son while confronting him for stealing expensive reptiles. You see, Zelenski sold exotic animals through his business, Wild Bill's Exotics. Prosecutors say in 2020, Zelenski had guns, alcohol, and more than $25,000 worth of reptiles stolen from his property. Those reptiles included a $17,000 lizard, a $7,000 python, along with a crocodile and boa constrictor. Zelenski was reportedly given a tip pointing to his girlfriend's 18-year-old son, Ryelee Manante-Powell, as well as 20-year-old Ashton Toady as the suspects. The defendant called 911 and told police that he confronted Manette-Powell and shot him after an alleged attack. Zelenski's girlfriend, Tiffany Powell, was with Zelenski during the confrontation. Doorbell video footage reportedly shows Powell pointing a gun at her own son and then returning it to Zelenski before the fatal shot was fired. Powell pleaded guilty to first-degree reckless endangerment and felony firearms possession. She was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Zelenski is pleading not guilty to his murder charge and faces life in prison if convicted. On Monday, opening statements were presented to the jury. Here's how both sides argued their case.
Tiffany Powell's going to testify. We brought her from prison too. And she's going to testify that Ryelee never touched the gun. He didn't reach for the gun. That he went at Bill with his fists. But when you press a gun hard against somebody's armpit and you pull the trigger on a double-barreled 12-gauge shotgun, that's going to kill somebody, or it's practically certain to kill somebody.
And what happened on October 19th of 2020 wasn't a vicious, intentional crime. It was an accident. A tragic accident. Caused when Ryelee grabbed the shotgun from Bill and tried to pull it at himself away from Bill. An accident.
During court this week, the jury saw Ring doorbell footage of the confrontation between the victim, the defendant, and Powell. Here's what it captured right before the fatal shot. Brian, let's break that down for a second, because the Ring camera, it only shows the moments before and after the shooting. How is that going to help or hurt either case?
So, Jesse, it creates a narrative. Of course, you're missing the perfect block when the shot goes off, but seeing what's going on before, hearing the put it down, fight like a man, but it's 2-on-1, I think both sides can use that argument to their advantage. One, saying, hey, this is ordinary force. They are promising only to use their fists to fight. Why is he then using deadly force? But one can argue 2 against 1. Could they kill him if he doesn't take the shotgun? I think both sides can use it to their advantage, and what happens before and after creates a very, very strong narrative, even though you're missing a piece. Maybe someone takes a stand and testifies to that missing piece.
Yeah, it's kind of like that rain example in law school when they're like, you might not see the rain, but if you see water on the ground, you see people holding an umbrella, you can assume it was raining. So, Dave, accidents happen, crimes committed. Is that a better defense than self-defense?
I think he's doing a combination, which means he's going to have to take the stand in his own defense. And by the way, he's in a wheelchair now, the defendant, which will get some jury appeal. But the crucial witness here is going to be the victim's mother, the defendant's girlfriend, who took the defendant's side in all this until now. Now she's sitting in a prison cell, cut a deal with prosecutors. She's going to testify, I assume on behalf of the prosecution, to say that no, this was not self-defense, that Ryelee, her son, was not grabbing at the gun. So that would undermine not just self-defense, but also accidents. So if her testimony is compelling, then it's a good day for the prosecutors.
All right. Yeah, these kind of cases, they are also kind of tough to predict as well. We'll continue to monitor it here on the Law&Crime Daily. And speaking of coming up on Law&Crime Daily, a gas station owner is facing a murder charge in the death of a South Carolina teen last month, while his mother is demanding the arrest of a second suspect. We're finishing today's show in Richland County, South Carolina, where a mother is demanding a second arrest in the death of her teenage son. He was shot and killed at a gas station last month after being falsely accused of shoplifting. Shell gas station owner Rick Chow is facing a murder charge after shooting and killing 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton in May. Authorities say that the defendant and his son Andy Chow apparently believed that the teen was trying to steal water bottles from the convenience store. The father and son had an argument with the victim inside the store before Andy Chow chased him outside. The defendant joined the chase armed with a pistol, and Andy Chow reportedly said that Carmack Belton had a gun. And that is when the defendant shot the victim in the back while he was no longer on the store's property. The victim's mother posted on Facebook over the weekend asking police to charge the defendant's son with murder. She cited Andy Chow's role in the attack because he initiated the chase out of the store. While authorities do believe the victim was armed during the incident, the police chief held a press conference explaining why the incident was not self-defense.
The father shot the young man in the back. He was not laying on the ground. He did not have his hands up. Even if he had shoplifted 4 bottles of water, which is what he initially took out of the cooler, and then he put them back. Even if he'd done that, that's not something you shoot anybody over, much less a 14-year-old. But you just don't do that. You know, this location has had lots of incidents in the past, shoplifting incidents. Been confrontations between the owners of the store and customers and people in there actually shoplifting. But you don't do what happened last night. What clouded the issue is that the victim did have a gun. There was a confrontation. We had to make sure that those who fired the shots did not have that gun pointed at them, and they did not, you know, in legal terms, be in fear of their life. And Rick Chow shot this young man in the back, and he killed him.
Dave, I get the mother's anger here, clearly, but I want to talk the law. Is there any legal theory that indicts the son for murder or maybe any other charge if he's not the one who pulled the trigger?
He'd have to be involved in this. Like, for example, he'd have to commit a crime, like in the Ahmaud Arbery case, where he impeded the victim's ability to run away, which is not present here. He just chased after him along with his father, and he yelled out gun, and the victim did have a gun, and then the father shot him. So according to these facts, you can't charge the son, which is why the prosecutors are not charging him. Now, if he had done more, if he was part of an effort to do something illegal, like shoot him in the back, that's different. If he said, shoot him in the back, then he would go down with his father, but he didn't do any of those things, so don't expect criminal charges to be filed against him.
You mentioned Ahmaud Arbery, so let's talk about it. Brian, you were in Georgia for the Ahmaud Arbery trial. Great reporting, by the way. And a father, a son, neighbor, the three of them, they were all charged, but only one of them pulled that trigger, Travis McDaniel. So does this case show any similarities to what we saw with Ahmaud Arbery?
At a 30,000-foot level, yes. Father and son chasing someone they believe to have committed a crime. In the case of Ahmaud Arbery is trespassing, and here it's theft. And in both of them we see that no crime was actually committed, or at least no felony was committed. And but that's where the similarities stop. To Dave's point, it was the extent of which Ahmaud Arbery was corralled and pushed from one block to the next block. The words that were thrown at him, the actions that were taken by all three to push him or entrap him in an area where the murder could happen. Now, do we have all of the facts as to what the son did? All we've got here is he started the chase, and he said, gun. Dave said, he didn't say, there's the gun, go and shoot him in the back. And so we're talking about, in order to get charges, like they did in the Ahmaud Arbery case, did you encourage or promote or push the commission of a crime? That doesn't seem to have happened here yet, so I don't think there'll be charges.
Yeah, it's always very fact-specific, and that's important under the law. Dave, Brian, thank you so much. Everyone out there, thanks for joining us here on Law&Crime Daily. We're going to see you next time as we discuss justice in America.